Star Wars Outlaws is the first AAA game not made under the supervision of Electronic Arts in more than a decade. Driven by corporate greed and forcing the creative process into the background, EA released a lot of Star Wars games that should have been major successes but turned out to be barely passable, with perhaps the exception of Fallen Order. This feels like a recurring theme in the Star Wars franchise in both movies and video games. And now the pressure is on Ubisoft, the publisher of Star Wars Outlaws, to not make the same mistakes. Remember that scene at the beginning of Star Wars The Force Awakens where Rey is stripping an Imperial cruiser? Did it bring you a feeling of awe and wonder? Is smuggling contraband with Han Solo and dealing with criminal syndicates your idea of fun? Are Jedi too goody two-shoes, and is the Empire too evil for your taste? You then might just be sharing the vision that Massive Entertainment and Ubisoft have for Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws is a third-person open-world action-adventure stealth and exploration game. And yeah, I know it's a mouthful. It's set between episodes 5 and 6 of the Star Wars storytelling universe. You play as Kay Vess, a street urchin, a young scruffy-looking nerf herder with nothing to her name, not even a few credits to pay for bed and board at her friend's place in the casino city of Canto Bight. All you have are big dreams of leaving this place and being free. Things go sideways, as they inevitably do, and you land on planet Toshara. Thrown into the midst of always competing criminal syndicates, with nothing but a death mark on your head, a stolen and wrecked starship, and your trusty pet and friend Nix, you'll have to create a future for yourself in this backstabbing galaxy far, far away. You'll notice right away that gameplay of Star Wars Outlaws consists mostly of skulking in shadows, sneaking behind crates, crawling through dusty vents, and climbing around to reach vaults and terminals containing secrets. Kay generally avoids confrontation. She has no superhuman powers or military training. Reaching for a blaster is your last resort. Instead, she developed a particular set of skills that are highly sought after in the underworld. You're a thief, a Bilbo Baggins of Star Wars, so to speak. You'll sneak your way into restricted areas, hoovering up every precious item along the way, until you finish the mission for one of the 4 criminal syndicates. Gameplay mostly reminds of stealth missions in Assassin's Creed or Metal Gear Solid, with a dash of Splinter Cell. Actually, the gameplay reminds me of the first 2 Tomb Raiders the most. I feel like I was Indiana Jones many times while exploring the alien planet open worlds, with game mechanics of trying to find the correct way to reach the goal most similar to Tomb Raider. I also must mention the level design of each set piece that represents the points of interest and quest locations of the game. It is far from revolutionary, but is also not basic to the point of bringing the experience down. You will get stuck from time to time, just remember there's always a way out, and Nix is your salvation most of the time. 1 to 2 hour heists of Imperial compounds and syndicate smuggling operations are broken up by exploration of a somewhat small open world that you traverse with a speeder. The size of the single planet open world is offset by the fact that as you progress further into the game, you'll unlock 3 more planets to explore. A snow-covered Kijimi, a lush jungle world of Akiva with non-stop monsoon rains, and the iconic Tatooine. When all of this is brought together, you get a large game space to explore and plunder. While we're on the subject of space, you'll also be able to go into outer space with your starship and do exploration of asteroid fields and nebulas for loot, while doing space battles with TIE fighters and smuggler cruisers. This expands the explorable game world to impressive content-filled playground. All of this is happening in the best looking graphical engine Ubisoft has yet released, and the most vibrant open world since Assassin's Creed Unity. Various biomes on different planets are so lush with alien life and special effects that everything truly looks and feels like a proper Star Wars epic movie. Densely populated cities where there's always gossip being heard as you pass by, and other speeders that go by on the road as you travel to your next adventure, makes everything feel quite natural. Opportunity to visit Tatooine and Mos Eisley Cantina, which are done in such a high level of detail and believability, will be enough for every hardcore Star Wars fan to play this game. All this exploring and quest finishing rewards you with items that will make further challenges easier. You can find clothes pieces that will increase your stealth or make your shooting better. Various parts will help you upgrade the blaster or change its shooting mechanics. There are also expert trainers that will unlock new abilities as you finish tasks and collect rare components for them. All of this rounds up the gameplay of Star Wars Outlaws quite nicely. As a Star Wars fan, I've enjoyed a lot of it. Stealth-centric gameplay and their slower tempo it dictates didn't bother me. I can imagine though that people that just like go around blasting things will find it a bit underwhelming at times. All this world building wouldn't work without a good story. Fortunately, Star Wars Outlaws is filled with good written characters and story arcs. There are very few gripes I have with the main story quests and the characters I've come across in them. Even the side quests didn't feel like simple fetch quests most of the time. A lot of effort has been put into crafting the world of KVS, and that's seen each step of the way, from voice acting to quest design. I can't praise enough how well they've designed her trusty pet Nix. In true Star Wars fashion, you must have a small critter or a droid as your companion, and Nix plays that part here. Beside his gameplay usefulness, where he'll push buttons for you or steal credits, items and weapons from unsuspecting victims, they've managed to establish a backstory so strong and emotional that it's borderline up there with Grogu and BD-1. There only remains a bit of regret that ND5, the resident droid in Star Wars Outlaws story, is not as sharp-tongued as HK-47 or K2SO. He's probably the most empathic droid since R2-D2 though. As a Star Wars fan, I've enjoyed the ensemble and the storytelling immensely. Star Wars Outlaws is filled with every Star Wars trope we've now almost come to expect from creative work set in that universe. It follows the rules to the letter, but it manages to stand out with the quality of work put into it. From the graphical presentation that is top-notch to almost completely bug-free gameplay, Star Wars Outlaws is a game hard to find a fault with. Stealth gameplay might not be everyone's cup of tea, and that will probably be the biggest gripe people have with the game. But if you don't mind that, or if you're an avid Star Wars fan, Outlaws is a must-play title. KVS is one of the better written characters in the Star Wars universe, and it's worth withstanding a few stealth missions to be able to experience her full story. If nothing else, driving across the deserts of Tatooine, meeting the Sand People and the ex-gunslinger sheriff, or just visiting the famous cantina to see the blaster shot on the wall is worth the admission price. I'd also like to say that I played this game on PC and finished it within 30 or 40 hours. I did the main story mainly and some of the side quests, but I still have a lot of side quest content that I want to go through, but I had very limited time and I wanted to see the main story first. The game key was provided by Ubisoft, but that did not affect our judgment of the game or the scoring of the game. We give this game a 9 out of 10 for finally being a high quality Star Wars product with good Star Wars story and excellent visuals and almost zero bugs. I hope you guys enjoyed this review of Star Wars Outlaws, and if you did, please consider leaving a like on this video and subscribing to our channel. This is the Noob signing out.